about a month ago, I toured Muskoka Roastery in Huntsville. And of course, they make ground coffee. I buy their coffee. It's delicious coffee. Howling Wolf, I think, is the one I like to consume. But you can buy it in beans, you can buy it in bags of just ground coffee, or you can buy it in pods. And they are using the Pure Pod 100, which is an invention of Club Coffee in conjunction with the University of Guelph. So the first fully compostable pod in the world, invented here in Ontario. So they use those compostable pods for their coffee. The problem that they wanted to talk to me about was that despite it being certified by BPI, which is the association that does the testing on them, being for 100% compostable, they're having difficulty getting municipalities to accept it. Because even though Muskoka has, for example, tested it and it does completely disappear in 5 weeks, they're worried about contamination from people putting other non-compostable coffee pods into the waste stream. Okay. So because of that, Muskoka won't even say something positive or encourage people to use them because it makes too much of a sorting and expense problem for them to deal with.
So you're saying that municipalities are just basically saying throw them out in the garbage?
Well, or they just aren't willing to accept them into their compost streams because they're worried they'll get too many non-compostable ones thrown in. So my solution to that is require all single-use coffee pods sold in the province to be compostable. And I think that's a positive thing because you're supporting Canadian industry, you're supporting a Canadian invention. It's the best solution for the environment. And there's some big Canadian companies that are using them. Muskoka Roastery uses them, but also Loblaw, President's Choice uses them. McCafe, McDonald's uses them. So there are some big companies that are using them, and I just think it's the best solution. Of course, it would support Muskoka Roastery as well. The other possible solution for those pods is to have recyclable ones, but people buy these things for convenience, and they love the convenience, but they hate the waste that comes. So I think a lot of people are kind of feel a little guilty every time they use one. But so you could produce recyclable ones, and there are some recyclable ones, but you have to actually physically take it apart. There's 4 parts to it, and wash it out and to put it in the recycling system. And then in the recycling system, often small plastic objects get sorted out and end up in the landfill anyways. So especially if there's any food waste, so if there's any coffee grounds left in it, it doesn't end up getting recycled anyway.
Well, I mean, you actually had a news conference about this not too long ago, and you actually had coffee pods with you to kind of show that although these things are tiny, yes, they're really important to take out of the landfill,
That's right. I mean, I was shocked at the numbers that I actually don't have a machine myself, but in Canada, 1.5 billion end up in landfills every year. 1.5 billion just in Canada. And I was also really surprised to see that 49% of the coffee sold in grocery stores is sold in the individual pods. So it's a big issue, and I've been really pleased with the response, really positive response that I've received, especially on social media.